Hey guys, NASCAR Bull for you back again, and welcome back to another video. And it is finally the day we're going to be looking at my silly season predictions for the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season that will be featuring the next gen car and the slanted controversial numbers on the side. But hey, we'll ignore that part. The next gen car is coming next year, and I can't wait. But also we're going to be having some drivers changing teams and stuff. And so before we start my silly season predictions, like who do I predict will go there and there, we're going to be looking at drivers who are changing teams, drivers whose contracts are ending after this year, drivers with an unknown contract status, and we'll talk about some new teams in 2022, and yeah, that's about it. And after that, we'll get straight into my predictions. So yeah, let's go ahead and start off this video. To start off with one of the drivers who are changing teams after this season, it's Matt DiBenedetto, because Team Penske has announced that they will move Austin Cindric into the 21 car for 2022, but plans change and he will move into the 2 car because Keselowski will leave Penske as he's heading to Roush Fenway to drive that 6 car, and Harrison Burton will join the Wood brothers next season, replacing Matt DiBenedetto. And in my opinion, that sucks for Matt DiBenedetto, but here's two sides to one story. The one side that has me defending him is that Harrison Burton, in my opinion, is not ready for the Cup Series and stuff. I feel like that he needs one more year in Xfinity because he has not really done much this year, and also last year a couple of his wins were lucky, in my opinion. Like the Homestead one, he didn't do that well in that race. He ran solid, and then the Texas one, that was the luckiest way to win a race. But then another part of me that's saying DiBenedetto, like, stop whining and stuff, is that he released the video of how he just felt about being replaced and stuff, and I bet Penske wasn't happy about it because he knew that he wasn't going to be in that car next year anyway. But I bet he just thought of the rumors of Cindric going into the 2 car that he thought he'd stay in the 21. But no, the Wood brothers weren't on that side, so sucks for DiBenedetto. Now let's look at another driver who's changing teams. Another driver changing teams after the season is Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch signed a multi-year deal back in 2019 that expires after this season, and he does bring some Monster Energy sponsorship to the team. And I remember The Athletic reported that he's a candidate, we all know that he's a candidate to drive that second 2311 car, most likely being the number 32 and stuff. But that's it, 2311 Racing can attain a second charter because Trackhouse has already got their second charter. Heck, they bought all of Chip Ganassi Racing for 2022, so Daniel Suarez is good, so there's another spot open for either Kurt Busch or Chastain. But Kurt Busch is most likely looking at 2311 first and stuff, but can 2311 get a charter? I mean, we've heard talks about Richard Petty Motorsports. Could they be out after the season? We'll see. But I did hear that Rick Boyer Racing is going to run 3 full-time cars in 2022, and so their Ford charter, I think they'll be leasing it. So could 2311 Racing get that one? We'll see in the next coming months and stuff. But Kurt Busch, another driver who will be out of a ride after this season. Another driver changing teams after the end of the season, Brad Keselowski. But damn, I love this scheme. What is this like? I think this is a Freightliner sponsorship. Damn, I love this scheme. But anyway, Brad Keselowski is changing teams after this season. He signed a 1-year renewal with Penske back in 2020. He'll move to Roush Fenway and take an ownership role with the team, in addition to driving the 6 car in place of Ryan Newman. So where does that leave for Ryan Newman and stuff? We'll get to that when I predict. But yeah, Keselowski now moving into the 6 as he's changing teams after this season. And finally, another driver that we know is going to be changing teams after the season, well, as we know, there are 4, is Ross Chastain, because his contract length was not announced, but they believe to be like a 1 year and stuff. But the sale of CGR makes him a free agent, although he's believed to be a leading candidate for the second Trackhouse cars. So we'll see, because we know if Kurt Busch is not officially going to 2311 Racing, 2311 is not going to get Ross Chastain. That's just my opinion and stuff. But if 2311 can't get Kurt Busch, Trackhouse is going to get Kurt Busch, or Kurt Busch is going to go to Trackhouse and stuff. So we'll see. I hope 2311 picks up Kurt Busch, because I want Ross Chastain to be in a Cup Series ride next year, and it'd be really cool to see him go and be teammates with Daniel Suarez and be a part of Trackhouse and stuff. That'd be really cool and stuff. Bring on the Melon Man. But now let's talk about drivers with contracts ending after the season. Some drivers with contracts ending after 2021. Number 1 is Austin Dillon. He's not expected to go anywhere, so he's good, I guess. Next up, Ryan Newman. It was believed that Ryan Newman signed a 3-year contract back in 2019, and that would expire after this season. We already know Keselowski's move to Roush it already has pushed Newman out if he wants to continue racing full-time and stuff, but Roush Fenway Racing has said that they have offered Newman a part-time opportunity to remain with the team that he's still, pondering and stuff. So we're not sure if Ryan Newman, because if Ryan Newman is going to race after this season, this will most likely be his last, because I'm not sure which team would pick him up after the end of the season. Like, what team would want him to race full-time and stuff? Maybe GMS if he's lucky. I'm not completely sure. But Roush, they did offer a part-time ride, and really, if I were Ryan Newman, I would like to go out that way. Just run a few more races that are, historical races, just to say goodbye to the fans and stuff. Because if they did make a part-time ride, it'd be, the number 60 car. So we'll see for Ryan Newman. Another driver whose contract ends at the end of the season is Eric Almirola, but I bet his seat is probably safe as long as Smithfield likes him, and also because he got the win at Loudon a couple weeks back. Next up is Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher, his contract ends after 2021, but Roush Fenway says that they expect him to remain with the team for I believe they said the next 3 years, but well beyond that. So that's pretty good news for Chris Buescher and stuff. So we'll see for Chris Buescher right there. Another driver is Michael McDowell, because I believe he has a year-to-year contract and stuff, and he did say that he wants to stay with the team, so I guess he's safe right there. Now here's an interesting one. Ryan Preece, his contract ends after this season, and sponsorship and the lack of a charter has the status of Ryan Preece and his team combo up in the air. So we are really not sure about Ryan Preece or the 37 car existing after this year, but we'll see. Time will tell, people. Time will tell. We're technically halfway through the season, but the playoffs have not started. It's not over. Another driver with a contract ending after the season is Eric Jones, because RPM, they hold an option for Jones at the end of the season, and Jones said that he would like to return to the team after the season. So we'll see what RPM's decision is. Next up, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. JTG announced a multi-year agreement starting in 2020, so I believe Stenhouse looks to be safe and staying in that 47 ride. And now, finally, another driver whose contract is ending after this season is Alex Bowman, but we already know he has now signed a 2-year extension with Hendrick Motorsports, so Alex Bowman, my boy, is clean. Now let's look at drivers with an unknown contract status. One of those drivers with an unknown contract status is Tyler Reddick. No solid information on his contract status. I believe he announced in August last year that he was going to return to RCR in 2021, so I bet he has a year-to-year deal, but eventually they should extend him to a multi-year deal, but I bet that all depends on how he does in the playoffs, and that's if he can make the playoffs. Another driver who's unknown is Christopher Bell, because JGR only announced that he was joining the team for 2021. However, he's not expected to move, mostly because he got a win, and also they're just going to see how he does in the playoffs. So I bet Christopher Bell's going to be in that car next season. Now for Anthony Alfredo, I bet he just has a year-to-year deal, but we'll see. I don't know if he'll return in that 38 car next year. I bet he's like John Hunter Nemechek, just trying to get some cup experience and probably use that into his factor, maybe in some lower series. So maybe he'll go to the truck series next year. I am 0% sure of what Anthony Alfredo is going to do, but we'll go into it more when I predict where I think he's going to go. And finally, the last driver with an unknown contract status is Cole Custer, but I don't think he's expected to move and stuff, so we'll see. And some other drivers I'd like to point out is Quinn Howard probably has a year-to-year deal, Cody Ware year-to-year, Josh Bilicki most likely year-to-year, and BJ McLeod, he's the part-time owner, so he's staying unless the driver comes to the team with sponsorship and stuff. But anyway, that's that. Now, finally, before we get into the silly season predictions, let's look at the new teams in 2022. So one of the new teams in 2022 is GMS Racing. They announced that they were running Cup in 2022, but it has not been released on any details for schedule and driver and stuff. They may run part-time as an open team and stuff, so we'll see. And if they were to get a driver, I would probably have to say like a Sheldon Creed, maybe a Zane Smith, because apparently it's been rumored that Zane Smith has been looking at driving for Chip Ganassi in 2020. I am not 100% sure. I believe that's a rumor, but Zane Smith could go Cup Series racing, but I feel like Sheldon Creed would probably be the most likely choice, because this is most likely his final season in the Trek series, so I don't know if he'll just go to Xfinity, maybe drive for Kaulig, or just jump straight at Cup. But I feel like running part-time for Cup and running full-time for Xfinity for Sheldon Creed sounds like a better idea, so we'll see on further details for GMS Racing. Another new team in 2022 will be Kaulig Racing. They have purchased 2 charters, and they will run 2 full-time teams. Justin Haley will run one of the cars full-time, and the team has also announced that AJ Allmendinger will run a partial schedule, but that could be with the 3rd team and stuff. But another driver could be in the second full-time car if sponsorship is secured. So if 2 drivers drove the second Kaulig car, because we know Haley is going to run that 16 car. If they ran a second car, I believe they'd be number 61, I'm not sure. But if they were to run a second car, if they ran partial, Allmendinger would drive some time, and maybe Kaz Grala, and then Kaz Grala could run full-time in Xfinity. I'm not 100% sure, guys, but that's just my prediction right there. And now let's move on to the other team. Another team is 2311 Racing, because there is speculation that 2311 would like to expand their second team, and Kurt Busch has been linked to that ride, and that will be obviously the number 32 car, but we're not sure because they don't even have their second charter ready, so we'll see, because like I said, that Ripware Racing is leasing a second charter, one of their charters and stuff, so they'll have 3 full-time cars, and their 4th charter could go to anyone, so we'll see what happens right there. Another, somewhat new team is Trackhouse Racing, because they have purchased Chip Ganassi and will operate 2 teams. Suarez will drive one of the cars. The other driver has not been named as of right now, but Ross Chastain could go to that ride. And finally, there's been speculation about Junior Motorsports heading into the Cup Series, but Junior Motorsports is they've been considering the possibility of adding a Cup team, but according to Dale Jr. says the cost of a charter is a stumbling block, and I could see that by him. And then some fans took it the wrong way, wanting Dale Jr. to drive, or wanting Dale Jr. to own a Cup team and stuff, because he's the most popular driver. They like to see him in the Cup Series and stuff, but like he said, the cost of a charter is very expensive and stuff, and so the most likely time for them to go Cup Series racing would be 2023, so a couple more years, but people have been making fun of Dale Jr. saying, oh, look at his net worth and stuff, and if we look at his net worth, $450 million. Some people have been making fun of that. I'm not sure if that's exactly right or that's how it works, but that's what people have been saying. So, but okay. So let's just leave Dale Jr. be. Wait a couple more years to see what Junior Motorsports could do going to the Cup Series. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for my roundabouts, my silly season predictions. So first up, Alex Bowman, I predict he'll stay in the 48 car because he's signed a 2-year extension already. Eric Almirola, I predict that he'll stay in the 10 car because of the win, and Smithfield still seems to love him, so I believe Almirola will be back in that Stewart-Haas number 10, probably for another year and stuff, and then we'll see if things could shake up a bit. Next up, I predict Matt DiBenedetto will be driving that number 22 Xfinity Series ride, replacing Austin Cindric. I feel like this is a good move and stuff, but there's a bit of 2 issues right here. Number 1, I'm not sure if Penske would want him to drive his Xfinity Series car, about, mostly because of what DiBenedetto said about being all upset and moody and stuff, posting a video on Facebook about he's upset getting replaced by Harrison Burton and not returning to the 21 team, so I bet that pissed off Roger Penske. But then Matt DiBenedetto probably doesn't even want to go to Xfinity, so maybe if Sheldon Creed isn't Cup ready or Zane Smith isn't Cup ready, maybe GMS could pick him up. I am not sure, but my prediction is it seems like a perfect fit for him to go to Xfinity and stuff and actually get a win in the Xfinity Series. He has no wins in trucks or Xfinity, so getting an Xfinity Series start would actually be a good idea for Matty D. Of course, big shocker, we already know Cindric to the 2. Big shocker right there, huh guys? Another big shocker, Keselowski to the 6. Yep, to the 6. Right here, I believe Stenhouse is going to stay in the 47 car. I feel like he's all good. It's probably going to be a one-car team next season, but we're not completely sure. Because if it is a one-car team, they can focus all of their knowledge onto one car, and that car could get better and stuff. And we already know that the next-gen car is going to make things like more equal and stuff, so should get better from now on. It's going to be more driver talent than team talent for the next gen car in 2022, so I believe Stenhouse will be driving the 47 car once again next year. Next up, Ryan Newman. I predict Newman will be retiring after 2021 mostly because he has no other choice. I mean, we already heard that Newman said before the season started in February that he isn't going anywhere, but I don't think he has any other choice. I'm pretty sure GMS probably would not want him. They would probably want a young, hot running prospect in the Cup Series or Xfinity or Truck Series come up into the Cup Series and see what they can do and stuff. And that part-time ride for Ryan Newman, he might not agree with it. I mean, Roush gave him the offer, and he still hasn't said anything because it seems like Roush is just saying, okay, we can give you a part-time ride, which is another way of saying, okay, these are your last few races with us, and then we're gonna say goodbye, sayonara, see you later. So I believe Ryan Newman will retire after the season, but we will see. He has still not made a clear decision on what his plans are. Next up, for 2311 Racing, I believe Kurt Busch is going to be driving that second car for the racing team. So I believe Kurt Busch will drive the 32 car. And I think that the charter that 2311 is going to get is going to be from Whitware Racing, since they're going to be leasing their 4th charter. So Kurt Busch to that 32 car in 2022 is my prediction. Next up, I believe Christopher Bell is going to be staying in that 20 car. That win seemed to have secured him another ride for next season, another time in the 20 car. So we'll see how long Christopher Bell can be in that 20 car, because I think he can be there for a pretty long time. So we'll see. But yeah, I believe Bell will be in the 20 car next season. Next up, I believe that Cole Custer will remain in the 41 car. Tyler Reddick, without a doubt, staying in that 8 car. I believe Austin Dillon will remain in the 3 car, but here's a bit of a twist. If Austin Dillon would not have gotten that win at Texas last year and wouldn't have made the playoffs, I will not be surprised if Richard Childress Racing gave him a bit of a warning to do better, or he would have been out, because Austin Dillon, he's a decent driver, but overall in his career, he is not that good. But he's a pretty solid driver, especially these last 2 years. Not 2019, we're not going to go back there. 50th anniversary ruined, but yeah, Austin Dillon, I believe he's going to stay in the 3 car next season. Of course, Daniel Suarez staying in that 99 car for next season. Of course, I believe Chris Buescher, the most underrated NASCAR driver in the Cup Series right now. But I can't really say that right now because he has not been doing so good the last couple weeks. I believe he's going to stay in the 17 car next season. Right here is a big one. I think that the 37 car will not be the 37 car anymore. I don't think JTG is going to go just to a 1 car team. Ryan Preece, I believe, will be out of a ride in 2022, which is going to suck because of the sponsorship stuff and all of this crap going on, because they couldn't even get into the All-Stars. They couldn't, and stuff like, they weren't even in the All-Star Open, which really sucks for them. And I believe they have a few races where they're going to be unsponsored, like mostly towards the end of the season. So we'll see. I feel like that this team could still stay, but in honest opinion, I don't think they will. But if he doesn't return, I think Ryan Preece would be a good fit for that GMS ride in 2022. So there you go. I think Preece would most likely drive that GMS car in 2022, but it might be a part-time thing, which I think is better for Ryan Preece, driving part-time, better than just trying to find a ride to drive full-time and just go back to another series. I mean, he could go back to the Xfinity Series. I mean, he does have 2 wins. He could get more, but I feel like GMS would be a good connection with him. So I believe the 37 car will no longer exist after this season, and I believe that Ryan Preece will be going to GMS. I believe Briscoe is going to remain in the 14, especially how he's been very up on the rise recently in that 14 car. I think Michael McDowell is going to stay in that 34 car. Of course, the Daytona 500 Series champion is going to stay. Now for Trackhouse, I believe Ross Chastain will be driving that 97, 98, whatever number they give to Ross Chastain. I believe he'll be driving for Trackhouse in 2022. I hope it happens. Chastain deserves to be in the Cup Series, and I want to see him succeed in that series. I believe right here, this is more, not really a prediction, but a bit of a hunch. So my hunch is that Anthony Alfredo would stay in the 38 car. That's what my prediction is. I feel like it's not a prediction, but more of a hunch that Anthony Alfredo would stay in the 38 car. So we'll see right there. Another driver who I'd like to point out is Ty Dillon. And I would not be shocked either, but you know, of course, Kurt Busch and Ross Chastain are at the top of Trackhouse's list. But third in that list would be Ty Dillon. I feel like Ty Dillon would be third on that list because Ty Dillon, him and Daniel Suarez have so much in common. They both came into the Cup Series in 2017. They were both rookies. Of course, Daniel Suarez, of course, he was at Joe Gibbs Racing for 2 seasons. Then he went to SHR, and then he went to Gaunt Brothers, and now he's with this team. And then that's kind of the same way Ty Dillon's been. Of course, he's been with Germain Racing since 2017, but then, like, I believe it started like 2019, they lost Twisted Tea, and then 2020, Geico was leaving the race team, and then that had to shut down the race team, and then he had to be with Gaunt Brothers part-time. Only ran, like, I believe, like, 3-4 races this season. I believe their last race was at the Roval. I'm not 100% sure, but they had to miss a few races and stuff, and Ty Dillon ran some races in the Xfinity Series, so he would be third on that list, but of course not number 1. That's what I'm saying. And if he doesn't go there, I have no idea what's going to be next for Ty Dillon. I don't know if he'll be driving part-time in that 54 car, because Bubba Wallace is linked to driving part-time in that 54 car in the Xfinity Series just to gain more experience and stuff and win some Xfinity Series races, but we'll see. I'm not sure about the future of Ty Dillon in NASCAR, but we'll just have to wait and see. Next up, John Hunter Nemechek. I'm not sure what to say about John Hunter Nemechek and his future. He could be linked to an Xfinity Series ride, I'm not sure, but I feel like Nemechek's trying to rebuild his career, go from the ground up, starting from Truck Series, and now go up to Xfinity. He may stay another season in Trucks, which would be good for him, and if he did, then of course, you know, in 2023, he's going to go to Xfinity or Cup, but we'll see, because I don't think he'll be joining a Cup Series ride. He may go to GMS in the Cup Series and drive part-time for them, but I feel like Ryan Preece, I think, has a better side to that than John Hunter Nemechek, but I'm not sure. This is just a prediction, because he could go to that GMS ride, because he drove for GMS in the Xfinity Series, so it is a possibility and stuff for John Hunter Nemechek, but I think he'll be driving that Ford truck next season. Of course, Harrisonburg to the 21 car, did not see that one coming. Really, to be honest, I did not see that one coming when they announced it a few weeks back. Some fans have been pointing out, what about Noah Gragson? Gragson should go to Cup. I don't see that. Because if Gragson was going to go to Cup, I feel like he'd go to GMS. But Gragson, in my opinion, is not ready for Cup. He has not won in his rookie season. He only won 2 races last year, and he has just had so much bad luck this season. So we still have a lot more racing to go in the Xfinity Series, and a few more races till the playoffs start for that racing series. But I'm not sure about Noah Gragson and stuff, so I feel like he's going to stay in that 9 car just for one more season. Of course, Justin Haley to that 16 car. Yep, that's about it. My next prediction is I predict that Kaz Grala will be driving this number 11 Chevrolet next season, which means, what about Sheldon Creed? I'm not sure, guys, but I feel like it seems right for Kaz Grala to drive in such a good Xfinity Series ride next season, and then probably in a couple seasons after that, he can go to the Cup Series and get a good ride, because Kaz Grala is a solid Cup Series, is a solid just NASCAR driver. Because in his first Cup Series start for RCR, he finished 7th at the Daytona Road Course, the inaugural Daytona Road Course race for the NASCAR Cup Series. So watch out for Kaz Grala. I feel like he'll be in that number 11 car next season. And finally, of course, we know Adrian Medina is going to be still driving full-time for Kaulig in the number 16 next season, and he'll be driving part-time for Kaulig in the Cup Series. And I feel like that second calling card will be number 61. So we'll see right there, and that will conclude my silly season predictions. And now I'll do it from here. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll have my birthday video in probably a couple days after my birthday and stuff. Of course, I won't have it directly on my birthday. Just gonna take some time off to celebrate and stuff, and just relax before I have to go back to school and stuff, because that's gonna be another huge stress factor added to me. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.